We have something very special for you today on Woodworking with Wes, something that was requested by one of our subscribers. Discover how to create this simple, classic piece inspired by the craftsmanship of the new Yankee Workshop. This project focuses on easy-to-follow techniques, durable construction, and a design that is both functional and beautiful. To get started off with our assembly, let's show you the parts that I already have ready to go together. These are the sides of our stack of drawers. These pieces here will be part of the buildup that we use to hold our drawer guides. You're going to go on that. I'll show you how that all goes together in just a second. These frames that I have made go between each drawer. The edge of it goes into the dado that you saw on the side of the stack of drawers. We just put it together with pocket screws. We just used our Craig boring machine, the bit that comes with it, and we've assembled it in a square, and we made sure that it was good and square. This helps hold our stack of drawers square. Let's go ahead and get started on some of the assembly. This is the bottom side of our dresser. These pieces will be nailed on flush with the top of the dado that I have already established in my side. And then our frames that I was just showing you go into the dado like that. This is where our drawer guide runs. Here's where our drawer is. Here's the front of our dresser. I'm going to go ahead and get all of that put together just like that. What we'll do is we'll glue and nail this on. We'll put some glue in the bottom of our dado. And when we have this already put in, we'll tack some nails from the bottom side of this frame, and that will anchor our frame. As you can see, with the main part of our chest of drawers all put together, we have a lot of plywood edges showing. We're going to be covering, now typically I might make a face frame that would cover all that, but because I have so much structure in here to make sure that I don't need any additional strength, I don't need the strength of a face frame, but I do have to face off that plywood edge. I'm going to be using 3/8 thick solid material. Now this is white birch. I didn't tell you about the material we're using. Inexpensive white birch. You can buy this at a big box store. I got mine from my wholesale supplier, but it's the exact same material that you would purchase from a big box store. This is poplar. This is going to be a paint grade piece. So I'm just using paint grade materials. And like I say, we're going to face off all of our plywood edges with this 3/8 thick solid material. I will glue and then use some 23 gauge headless pins, and we'll pin it on, and then I'll sand that level and flush with the sides. After I get that done, I'm going to put a 4-inch base piece around the bottom of our dresser that will create just a nice foot and give it some additional stability by having a larger base piece. I always want to have, whenever I do something that stands tall like a dresser or a bookcase, I like to have a good solid base underneath it, and this base molding that we're going to be putting on gives me that extra solid base that I always like to have. Let me go ahead and get the face pieces put on and get the base mold put on, then let's come back and take a look. You can see now with our facing strips all installed, we don't have any raw plywood edges shown. I've put that on, sanded it nice and smooth, and I added the 4-inch base that I was talking about. So it gives me a little heavier base to our cabinet, a little larger footprint on the floor for tipping and making sure that it's a little safer so that there's no problem with it tipping over. Now that we have that installed, for a little extra detail, I made an outside corner molding that is going to go on the face of that corner, and then a corresponding piece of molding that will go on the back side here that is the exact same width as the face of our corner mold. And so when we get it on like that, that just gives it a little extra detail. We're going to go ahead and get those pieces installed and sand it out, and basically the box part of our cabinet is getting very close to being complete. I got the detail all done, the corner piece and the back piece. I put it on nailed it, puttied and sanded it so that I have my detail. Looks really nice. Gives a little detail to the edge of the side of our stack of drawers. And then let's turn it around here so you can see the front. And it's kind of trimmed out where our drawers go. Our base mold, now our side trim pieces. That's going to make a real nice place for our drawers to fit in. And I have a special drawer face that I've made for this. I'm going to show you how I did it, and I'm going to show you how it makes it look nice and smooth and soft all the way through. We'll get to that in just a minute. First thing let's put on a top. Before I put on a top though, I want to talk about one thing. Remember I talked about this little board that I put in here was for the drawer guide? Here's my drawer guide. It's going to go in just like this. Now, in installing my drawer guide, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 1/8 spacer underneath my drawer guide. I'm going to set my drawer guide on here. We're going to provide you a link to Amazon to buy these drawer guides. They're really a nice little drawer guide. They have about a 50 or 60 pound capacity, and so you couldn't put enough clothes in your dresser to worry about this drawer guide. But it's a full extension drawer guide, ball bearing drawer guide, really a good little drawer guide for dressers. Anyway, we're going to put that on there. But this frame that I showed you that I was putting it together, that helps hold the cabinet nice and square and solid. That is kind of it's a trick I stole from Yankee Workshop. I was watching one of his videos. He was building a chest of drawers. He showed this little framework in there. It's an older style of construction, but it's tested, time tested, and it's really, really a good way to keep your cabinet nice and square. And so I borrowed it from Norm. We made our dresser that way. So get a little inspiration from watching other videos. When you watch mine, you'll get inspired too. But anyway, let's get our drawer guides put in. Let's put our top on. Let me show you the top. Here's the top, all ready to go. It has a 7/8 edge on it. It's a plywood top. I put an edge around it so that it gives it a little more beef. We'll put that on there. And these frames that we put in here, we have a frame up top. And that frame, screwing through the underneath side of this frame into the bottom of our top is how we will anchor our top with some 1¼ grabber screws. I'll get that done. We'll come back, we'll put some drawer guides in, and then we'll put a drawer in and show you how the drawer fits. I have my top. I laid the cabinet on its back because the top is going to be flush with the back of the cabinet. I've centered it, and now getting ready to put the screws in. Here's that 1¼ grabber that I was talking about. And we're just going to put it right through our frame and into our top. And that anchors our top. I'm going to go ahead and put a few around the back and a few around the front, get our top anchored good, and then let's work on some drawer guides. Here's the drawer guide that we're going to be using. It's a full extension ball bearing guide. It has 3 pieces, so it extends clear out, so your drawer comes clear out. These holes on this is the part that goes against the cabinet. This is the part that goes against the drawer. These holes that are provided here are for screwing it to the inside of the cabinet. Let's show you how that works. We have our 1/8 inch spacer that we put in. I'm holding this is the front of the drawer guide, and I'm putting the front of the drawer guide even with that 3/8 strip at the back side of that 3/8 strip. I'm going to show you the reason that I do that in just a minute. There's a special reason why that 3/8 strip really comes into play as a measurement for me. We're finding those holes, and we just bring in our screw and put our screw in, and then that ties it in. The screw that I'm using, let me hold one of these screws up here for you. The screw that I'm using is just a 5/8 by 8 screw. These can be purchased at the hardware store or anything like that. They're just a little small screw, and they work really well for putting these drawer guides in. There you go. And then your drawer guide goes all the way back. Click like that. Okay, let's go ahead and put a part of the drawer guide on a drawer and show you how that works. We already have one of the drawers installed. Let's go ahead and show you how we do that. Now, we've got our drawer guide installed. Like I say, it's a 3-piece drawer guide. Here comes our drawer guide out. Here's 1 piece, 2 piece, the 3-piece. You take this piece actually out of your drawer guide, and it has the little black release mechanism there. You just pinch that with your finger. Oh, I pinched it the wrong way. And it comes all the way out. Now it's ready to put it on your drawer. So let's go ahead and take a look how we do that on our drawer. This piece goes on flush with the bottom and flush with the front. This is the front of the drawer. Here's the bottom of the drawer. Now that little 1/8" strip that I used to install the drawer guide, I now use it as a little cheat stick to make sure that I'm holding it right flush with the bottom. In fact, I got to hold it the wrong way there. Okay, we got to be flush with the front. Check on that. Flush with the bottom. We have our screw, and we put a screw in there and it holds it fast. One thing I want to show you something. See this little piece right here that goes in my screw gun? Let me take that out so you can see it. This goes in your screw gun and your screw tip fits in here. This is a magnet, and it helps you when you put things in like this, little teeny screws, it holds that screw. I'm going to give you a link to that. You can buy that on Amazon too. That's just a real tricky little thing. Cabinet makers use this all the time, and I don't know why they don't tell you about it more, because I don't know that I could get along without it. Because I don't think I could hold the screw, hold the drawer guide, hold the drawer, and my little cheat stick. I don't have that many hands. An octopus would have to be able to help me. There you go. All right, let's put this drawer in. To install the drawer into the cabinet, we just line that piece up that we screwed to our drawer with the piece that's already in the cabinet, and we just slide it in. There we go, like that. And we do that both sides. We go around here and get the other side hooked in. And then we slide our drawer in, and it's on the drawer guide. And let me reach in here and pull it forward so you can see. There's our drawer guide and full extension all the way out, all the way back. We have all of our drawers installed now. We're getting ready to put on our drawer face, and I wanted to show you the special edge that I did on this drawer face. Let's turn it over so you can see it. It's called a 3/8 lip. Now, a 3/8 lip is exactly the same depth as our 3/8 facing that we put on here, and that's why I held the drawer guide back 3/8 of an inch. The drawer face will fit in that opening like that, and you can see how the nice smooth edges line up with everything else and give it a nice look. But let's show you how that 3/8 lip works. Let's say this is the face of our cabinet right here. And here's a drawer face. Here's our 3/8 lip cut. And you can see how that 3/8 lip fits inside the opening of the drawer, like this is our drawer opening here, fits inside and lips over this part of the face frame and creates a nice look to the outside edge. Now, I've already rounded this other side, and what I did is I used a 5/16 round over on my drawers. Give it a nice 5/16 round over. Then I cut my 3/8 lip. Let's go over and show you how you make this rabbet cut, this lip cut on the table saw. We're getting ready to make our 3/8 lip cut. Now, a traditional 3/8 lip is 3/8 in and 3/8 over, and that's the 3/8 lip. I do one thing different. I make mine 3/8 deep, but I make it a 1/2 inch. That gives me room to move my drawer around to adjust it to make sure it's all lined up. I have my fence set where it's supposed to. I have my blade height cut or set, and we're going to make a kerf cut, just kind of like this little kerf cut right here. We're going to make a kerf cut first. It's a little deep, but we'll make a kerf cut. With our saw reset height-wise, our fence reset, we're going to make our cut. We're going to stand our drawer face up like this, and we're going to complete the rabbet cut. Basically, that's what we did, was a rabbet cut. And so we have now completed our 3/8 lip cut. All it needs to do now is sand this out, and that's what we did to our drawer faces. All right, let's get ready to put a drawer face on. I'll show you how to take the measurements and how I will space my drawers. We're getting all set up now to put our drawer face on our drawer. This is our drawer face. Turn it over. We see our 3/8 lip that we have around it. I determined by doing some math that the space from the inside of my 3/8 lip to my drawer is 3/8 of an inch. So I made myself some 3/8 spacers. I also determined that from the 3/8 lip cut to the bottom of my drawer is also 3/8. So I made myself some 3/8 spacers all the way around. With my 3/8 spacer sticks all the way around, I just feel, I put my drawer on there and I just feel where my drawer is, put my spacer sticks on both sides, make sure that I'm centered and that I'm flush with my 3/8 sticks on the bottom. There I go. Then I use my 18 gauge small crown stapler with a 1-inch staple. Because my material is 5/8 of an inch, I use a 1-inch staple and I tack the 4 corners of my drawer. The reason I only do 4 is because when I get it over, if by chance I need to adjust, I can take a rubber hammer and just bump a little bit. That extra 1/8 inch that I made on my 3/8 lip when I made it a 1/2 inch, that gives me a little bit of adjustment room. I probably won't need it because every drawer guide went in exactly the same. Every drawer went in exactly the same. Every drawer face was cut exactly the same. And from consistency, I should be able to put my drawer faces on very easy. With 2 drawer faces on, let's go ahead and slide those in, and you can now see how the spacing looks so nice. My lines are even across, my gap in between is even, and when I get all 4 drawer faces on, if I need to adjust a little bit, I certainly can. But you can see how it's coming together. Let me go ahead and get finished off, and then we have some paint to do. I went to my Sherwin-Williams dealer this morning. He suggested a 2-step process, a sealer coat and a final coat. He gave me a brush, a roller, and the primer coat. We're going to put that on first. We'll do all of our detail work with our brush and roller our flat parts. Okay, let's get started. We have our primer all done and sanded. We gave it a soft sand with a fine grit sanding sponge to kind of smooth it out. We're now ready to put on our color coat. We're using Emerald. This is again a Sherwin-Williams product. It's urethane paint enamel. Urethane, see it says urethane trim enamel. Excuse me, I had to get it right. Anyway, we have had it tinted to just an eggshell of color, so it's going to be just a little off-white. Let's go ahead and put some paint on and show you what it looks like. This will be a nice warm color for our chest of drawers. This is a beautiful paint. The way it's going on is nice and smooth. The salesperson that I talked to, I explained to him what I was doing. He said this would be the very best kind of paint to give the finish that we were after. And so we're following our salesperson's instructions. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay. Let me go ahead and get the rest of it painted. Let's take a look. I hope you had as much fun watching this video as I had building it. You know, building your own furniture, you can always have a better piece of furniture than you can go out and buy, especially when you learn how to build it here on Woodworking with Wes.